now we'll move on to the root center. So the root center is physical adrenalized pressure, and 39.6% have this undefined. And the undefined root is amplifying others' pressure and starter energy. And the not self is hurrying to be free of the pressure. So you can ask yourself the question, how am I hurrying to be free of the pressure, right? When you feel yourself rushing and you think you need to do something faster. And so the secret is to step away from pressure to regroup and allow yourself time needed to complete a task. And remember, you don't have to do all the things. So the root center, it's like the gas pedal, right? It's that go, it's that adrenalized, like do something, start something new. So when this is like undefined, this conditioning is like, oh, and do another thing, and do another thing, and do another thing, right? It's like a never ending to-do list. And you feel like, oh, if I could just get to the end of this to-do list, then finally I could rest. But it's like, again, these undefined centers, it's like you're never going to get to that point of satisfaction. You're never going to get to that point of like, I did it. I'm done now. It's just always going to add another thing onto your list. And I find like when I have this undefined, but if something's like lighting me up, I will start like 10 different projects in the house. I will start cleaning this room and I'll start cleaning this room and then I'll start doing the windows and the vacuum is here and this is that and the laundry is everywhere. Like I end up starting all these projects and then of course I don't have the consistent energy to do it all and manage it all, and it ends up where I end up laying down and everything is just like 10 different projects started and nothing is finished. It's like, okay, that was not helpful ultimately. And yeah, we can really get lost trying to rush, and it can just feel this like almost like a cattle prod, like, do it, do the next thing, and do it faster. And it just gets exhausting. It doesn't feel good. It's not great for our adrenals either. Like you end up like really wearing those out. And so with this, it's like, just try to pull yourself out of that never ending to-do list, right? Just take a pause. Just try to lay down for like 5 or 10 minutes. And if you can just detach yourself from that energy flow that's pushing on you, it could just feel a lot easier. Like, oh, I don't need to rush. I don't need to finish this right now. Why am I rushing? Or even like trying to like purposefully walk slower, because I tend to just like walk fast and do all the things. And like I used to bartend and run around and handle all of these things. And it's like, why am I rushing around? I'm in my own home. I'm just hanging out. Like, why am I rushing as if there's someone behind me, like with that cattle prod telling me to do something faster and do something faster? Like there's a clock chasing me. It's like, it's not. And usually there's not really that many things to rush with. Sometimes there are. And that's like the time when it's, we can use that undefined root in a good way, right? Like, oh, hey, now it is time to rush and get out of Dodge and start something new. And we can use that energy wisely because we've learned, hey, what's worth rushing through and what's not. Sure, when I was bartending and managing like a bunch of customers and this, that, whatever, yeah, I needed to rush around because I needed to handle all these things. And if you don't handle all these things, then the whole thing is going to collapse and you're going to have a really bad night. So yeah, that was a good time for me to use that pressure. But otherwise, like I'm just hanging out in life. I don't need to rush around. Like I don't need to rush around, the grocery store or on a walking trail. And I've really found that when people are behind me on a walking trail or something, I'm like, no, I'll wait. You go around. Because I hate that, like, oh, like they're just like cattle prodding me from behind to go faster. And it's like, no, I don't need to do this. Like, I don't need to run. I can saunter. I can just promenade. I can enjoy myself and take things slowly because the energy is not mine. Those undefined roots, you never have that sense of satisfaction. You never have the sense of like, I did it, I'm done. And now I'm not going to be rushed anymore because I finished it. It's like, no, another thing is just going to fill that space because it's not our energy, right? So maybe you're done with that one guy's pressure, but now there's this other guy's pressure. Or maybe the planets are lighting something up. There's always going to be something else that comes and like fills that void, right? Like nature abhors a vacuum. So if you have these like undefined gates and centers, they're receptive. They're going to pull that in. And so stop chasing it. Like there's no point. or at least witness yourself chasing it. So you can be like, well, at least I can see it now. Don't think that you're ever going to be free of it, because that pressure is never really going to go away. And just, yeah, try to pull yourself out of it, even if it's just for like 5 or 10 minutes, to pause that to-do list, right? To pause the next line and the next line and the next line of all the things to do. Oh, and the other really good thing is like, give yourself time to do the things that are going to take time and energy, right? Like if you're going on a big trip, like maybe don't wait till the night before and then be this like adrenalized open route rushing around mess. Like maybe start packing a week or two beforehand to give yourself the time to like start it and then do something else and then do a little bit more and do something else. And because that adrenalized, that over cortisol, adrenal go, go, go kind of pressure, stress feeling, like that's exhausting. It's not great for us. And so, know when it's time to use that go rush around energy, and when you can just give yourself more time and put in, 15, 20 minutes at a time instead of trying to rush it through the night before. Like give yourself that time to like process and marinate and develop whatever it is that needs to be developed. Give yourself that time so you're not rushing around like a chicken with your head cut off, because ultimately it's not going to benefit you. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have about the root center that's worthwhile. I know it's one of the most difficult to like decondition, because it's just this do a new thing and do a new thing and do a new thing and do a new thing. So, use that energy wisely. Like you can start some new stuff, but follow your strategy and authority on if it's actually worthwhile for you, and if there's a long term to it. Because again, you might end up starting like 10 different projects that like don't go anywhere, and then you have to clean them up later when you're actually too tired. And so, yeah, give yourself the time you need to get things done and to get ready for things, because it'll just be a lot easier. Like give yourself 2 days instead of one, give yourself a week instead of 2 days, whatever that is for whatever you have in your life. Just give yourself the time to process that correctly.